Hello soulmates, welcome back to my YouTube channel, and if you are new to this channel, you're very much welcome. In today's tutorial, I'll be teaching you how to cut and sew this beautiful gown you're seeing on your screen. So my recreation is the one playing in the middle, and I only made changes on the sleeve. So this particular video will be the cutting tutorial, that is the part 1 of this dress. So if this is a tutorial you're interested in, please like, comment, share, subscribe, and let's get right into the tutorial. So guys, let's start the pattern drafting. So we are drafting the upper front bodies first. So this is my pattern and I'm just labeling it. So that's my shoulder, my armhole, my bust line, my under bust line, then my waist line. So if you know how to draft a princess dart bustier, you can just go ahead and draft this, because I will make this part of drafting the bustier a little bit fast so that we don't waste much time here. So let me just explain shortly. So I wrote another line underneath my bust line, then I'm measuring my nipple to nipple measurement divided by 2. Let's assume your nipple to nipple measurement is 8, so 8 divided by 2, that is 4. So on the right side, on the smaller side, I took out ½ inch, and on the other side I took out 1 inch. Then I'll be connecting this to the line below the bust line. So I will just connect this point like this. Then I'll connect this to the armhole. I have a detailed tutorial on how to draft a princess dart bustier, so if you need the video, just drop the comments and I will send it to you. I will send the link to you. So I also took out some dart at the armhole area just to tighten the armhole. So now I'll go ahead and measure my bust divided by 4. I'll move over to my waist, then I'll measure my waist divided by 4. Then I will add the dart that I took out there. So I will add it back. So after adding it back, then I'll just connect the bust to the waist, then the armhole to the bust. So from my measurements, this is 15.5, and my back length is 14.5. So I have to take out 1 inch at this side there. So let me use a marker to draw all these points out so that it can be more visible for you to see. So please note that this part is only fast because I don't want to spend much time here, so the other parts are well detailed. So at this armhole side, this part here, just extend it upward by 1 inch, then you reconnect the armhole. So now let's go over to the neckline. For the neckline, I'll be using 3 by 3 for the neckline. This is because we'll be adding a collar to this neckline, so it must not be too low. So I'll be using 3 by 3 for this neckline of the front. 3 by 3, 3 inches wide and 3 inches deep. Then I'll connect my neckline. So after that, I'll go ahead and make my shoulder slope, which is 1 inch. Then I will just connect it also to the neckline. So now let's draft the opening at the shoulder area. You know, on the dress there is an opening there. So what I did was to measure what I have at this shoulder divided by 2. So I divided it into 2 equally. So everything you have left from the tip of this neckline to this shoulder, after the neckline to the end of the shoulder, measure what you have, then you divide it into 2. So divide it into 2, locate the point. Then the next thing I'll be doing is to draw a line, like a straight line downward. So I'll draw a straight line downward. Make sure the line is straight. So I'll draw a straight line downward. Then depending on how deep you want it, I think I will just be using about 4 inches deep or 4.5 inches. So the depth of this line will be 4 inches. So I'll be using 4 inches for this part here. Then from that 4 inches point, I will connect this point upward to about 3/4 inches away from that middle line, just like a dart, but this one will be 3/4 inches to the right and 3/4 inches to the left. So that's what I will cut out. So that is my opening. So the opening will be about 1.5 inches. So let's go ahead and just cut out our pattern. Please, if you haven't liked this video, please like this video. Thank you. So the next thing to do is to open up this part here that I took out 1 inch. Then I'll just tape it down. So I'll just tape it down. So now let's cut away the opening at the shoulder area. So now with this, the front bodice is ready. Let's move over to the back bodice. So this is my back bodice, and I'm labeling this part the zipper allowance. So it's just 1 inches. So I went ahead to also draw my armhole. So the first line here is my armhole line, the second line is my bust line, then the last line is my waist. So for the neckline, I'll be using 3 inches wide. Then for the shoulder slope also, I'll be using 1 inch. So for the depth of this neckline, we'll get back to that. So let's measure our bust divided by 4. Please always measure your bust after the zipper allowance. So your bust divided by 4 there. So at this waistline, so my waist divided by 4, then I will add my dart allowance of 1 inch. So I'll connect the points together just like this. So now I want to prevent zip bulging, so I'll be taking ½ inch away from here, but I'll be adding it back at the waist area. So when you take it out at the zipper allowance, make sure you add it back at the waist area. So now from this part here, just connect it upward like this. Yes. So now for the darts, you measure your nipple to nipple measurement divided by 2 plus ½ inch. So that's how you locate your darts for the back. So your nipple to nipple measurement divided by 2 plus ½ inch. So now I'll take ½ inch to the right, ½ inch to the left. So that's my dart. So for this neckline, depending on how deep you want it, but don't make it too deep. So I'm using about 8 inches. So I'll be using 8 inches. So I'll connect it like this. So that 8 inches is my armhole length. Please don't make the neckline at the back too deep so that your bra strap will not be showing. So let's cut this pattern out, and this is what we have. So this is the back bodice. So let's move over to the skirt part. So for the skirt part here, I'm placing my tape rule from my half length below. So the tape rule is starting from my half length. So that line there is my waist. So my half length or my waist length, then the hip. So this is like my short gown length, that is my knee length. It is also my knee length. Then the length of this gown, which is like a 3/4 inches length. So that's the end, that's the length at the end. I'm sorry it is not showing. So like I said, my half length is starting at this waistline. So you measure your waist divided by 4, then you add your dart allowance. Actually, we don't need a dart allowance because I later removed the dart allowance. So but I measure it at first. So your hip, at the hip area, you measure your hip divided by 4. So that's what you measure. So let me connect this waist to the hip first. So this is what it looks like now. So now the next thing I will do is to measure what I have at my hip. Then I will keep measuring it till I get to the end of this gown. I'm sorry I'm not showing the end of this gown, but this gown is a 3/4 length. So I'll just roll this part here, just straight line downwards like this. So I'll roll it straight line downwards. So the length is like 6 inches away from my short gown length, that is the 3/4 length. So at the hip area now, you go down by about 4 inches. We want to make a pencil, we want to make this pencil because we don't want it straight, we want it pencil. So I'll take out 1 inch at the edge over there. I'll take out 3/4 inch at the knee length, then I'll take out ½ inch at this part. So I just kept on reducing it. So this is how it is. So from this point here, it is ½ inch. On the knee length, it is 3/4 inches. So as you can see that the line is not starting from the hip, it's starting like 4 inches away from the hip. So ½ inch there, 3/4 inches at the nail length, then at the end over there I took out about 1 inch. So as you can see the curve there. So I went ahead to mark out my dart point. Like I said, I noticed I did not need this dart point, so just keep this part. You don't need to measure your dart point out on the pattern. So I later removed the dart, which you'll be seeing very soon. So let's go ahead and cut out our pattern. So like I said, we don't need this pattern, so I'm shading it out. So I will remove this pattern at the waist area now. So let me measure my waist again. So my waist divided by 4. So the remaining part there was for the dart allowance, so we don't need it again. So I'll just reshape this hip to my waist. So I'll reshape this, then I'll cut it away. So we don't need that for this skirt pattern. So now it's time to draw the curves that we have at the skirt. So now it will be starting from this waist here. It will be starting from that waist. So now what I did was I measured 1½ inches at this part. So I measured 1½ inches. So I was trying to calculate to see if it will be too wide or not. You know, this is on fold, so I measured 1½ up to about, okay, let me show you now. I measured 1½ there. As you can see that it is like very close, like let's say 8 inches away from that hip line. It is like 8 inches away from the hip line. So now for this other part, I just curved it using this French curve to blend in into this line. So from the tip of this waist, like that waist, exactly at the waist, so I just blend it in like this. So that was what I did from the waist to this line. So let's say this line is like 6 to like 8 inches, let's say like 7 inches away from the hip line. So that was how I got my curve. As you can see that the line is stopping at the waist. So for the wideness of this, I used 2 inches. So if it will be too big for you, you can use 1.5 inches, but I used 2 inches. So you measure 2 inches all through like that, then you also connect the point. So you keep measuring 2 inches. You keep measuring 2 inches till you get to the end of the gown. So let me connect this part first, because this part is the curvy part. So let me use the French curve to connect it. Then I'll use the straight line to connect the remaining parts there. So I'll be using the same pattern to cut the back. So I will not be cutting another one for the back. So the only difference is that I'll be adding my zipper allowance at that center front. So I'll be adding the zipper allowance for the back. I hope you understand how you can use your back front pattern to cut your back pattern. So that's what I will be doing. So this is what I have here. So now I will label this line because it is very important. Please label and also put arrow, because I noticed that at this number 3, the both side, when I cut it out, it was looking very similar. So I don't know which part should go into the number 2. Please all put arrow, like arrow pointing towards 2, so you will know that this side is the one pointing towards 2, so that when you want to join it, you can know what to do. Especially this number 3, please put an arrow there pointing towards number 2. So we are done with the pattern drafting. So the sleeve tutorial, that is the cutting of the sleeve, the sewing of this, will be in another video. So this is what it looks like after cutting, but this will be in another video. Please like this video, drop a lovely comment, motivate me so that I can drop the part 2 very soon. So thank you so much for watching. If you haven't subscribed to this channel, please subscribe to this channel, and I will see you in the next tutorial. Bye.